Good morning, Joe. Ask Joe about money, and today is February 15th, 2023. A couple of minutes before the market opens, and I want to do our pre-market run through, and I want to put in, so this is the 24-hour chart. Let's go ahead and put in the, the wrong one here. Let's go ahead and put in the high of the overnight session, which is up here. And let's go ahead and put in the low of the overnight session. All right, so the overnight session 41.14 to 47, decent size range in the overnight session. All right, then let's go ahead and change our trading hours to regular trading hours now that we have the overnight session in there. So far this week, okay, what has happened? Monday was a Monday. Where did Monday open? Okay, so Monday opened here. So this was Monday. So Monday was a big trend day. Then we ended up in a trading range. Yesterday the market went, this was yesterday. The market went up and then down and then back up. So pretty much trading day. Now today we're opening up. We're gapping down. All right, so we're gapping down. And so we have yesterday's low, which is down here. Let's draw in yesterday's low. There's yesterday's low. And yesterday's high is up here. All right, so yesterday's high is up there. And so now let's take a look at the longer time frame. So again, we've been looking at this pattern. This is a big area. And so at this point, what can we notice? All right. What we notice is that we are in an uptrend on the longer chart. And we tried higher, we didn't find buyers. Every time we try to go, this is a high, a lower high, a lower high. But now we're closer to support than resistance, but we're kind of right in the middle. So, really, this has been this way since February 5th. So this is where we are longer term. This is the context that we talk about every single day. This is context right here. So let's go back to the 5-minute chart. Let's see what we could do today. So here it is so far. Here's the moving average up here. We're closer to support than resistance. Here's the overnight low, the red line. The thicker red line is yesterday's low. And we have a rising support line, trend channel. So again, let's see what happens. And like we talk about every single day, okay, what we have to look at, what we have to be aware of is our patience, our mindset. And what I want to talk about this morning specifically is our A game, B game, and C game, right? A game, B game, and C game. So let's talk about that. right, so we have our A game, our B game, and our C game. So let's talk about the A game first. That's the easiest. And then I want to talk about the C game. Because we talk about our A game. And our A game is, we've all been there before. It's where we want to be. It's where we've heard the term, to borrow it from sports, being in the zone. We've heard that. And it's where we're making decisions seemingly effortlessly, right? We're making decisions effortlessly, and we are just reacting to what's happening based on our skill set, based on our knowledge. So first bar is a 41.19, the first to 41.28, and it's a green bar. Okay? But we're opening up well below the moving average, so let's see what happens. So in our A game, we were able to pull in all of our knowledge, all of our experience, and get ourselves out of the way, so to speak, and just let it perform, because as we know, trading is a performance activity, while getting ourselves out of the way. So that's our A game. And we do a lot of different things to try to stay in the A game, but sometimes it's a little bit slippery. It's not easy to get back into the A game, and sometimes it's hard to stay in the A game. So the reason why I want to talk about the A game first is because obviously we want to be trading from the A game. So what are some things that we can do to stay in the A game? Well, for me, it's things like taking care of my mental health, which includes meditation, taking care of my physical health, which includes exercise, taking care of my diet, which helps me with my physical health and my mental health. So these are the type of things that I do to promote A game. But like everybody else, I sometimes come into the market and I am in my C game, right? And this is really an area where, it's kind of talked about like, well, get back to the A game. But what if I can't, right? What if I come in and I'm tired? And what if I come in and there are things going on in my personal life? And what if I come in and I just don't feel like trading today? And what if I come in and the market's just in a range? That's called my C game. And the reality is, that's going to happen all the time. That's going to happen all the time. So we have a situation where we want to be in the A game, but we're actually in our C game. So what do? Well, I'm going to propose that improving our C game is just as important as our A game, because the A game is something that we're working on consistently, continuously, and yet we come in and now we find ourselves in the C game. Yet we can't just say we're not going to play that day, right? We can't just say we're not going to trade that day. So when we're in our C game, to the extent that we can get better at our C game is to the extent that our overall trading gets better. Because if you've ever heard of a trader blow up, if you've ever experienced a trader blow up, that comes from the C game. If you've ever not followed your rules, that comes from a C game. So, how do we improve our C game? And this is the most important thing. There's one way to improve our C game, and it's awareness, it's honesty, and it's truth. What do I mean by that? Well, for many years, I avoided my C game in the sense that whenever I was in my C game, I would just blame it on the market. And I wouldn't really look at what I was doing when I was in the C game. So the first thing we need to do is we need to look at our actions during the C game. Okay, the first thing we need to do is say, what are we doing? What decisions are we making in our C game, right? Because until we're able to be honest with that, we're not going to be able to make any changes because we don't even know what the truth is. So the first thing is when it comes to our C game is to realize, okay, we're in the C game, we're making subpar decisions, okay, and now how can we mitigate that? Okay, one thing that we can do is not trade. Okay, now I don't prefer that one because what if the market happens to be good that day? Or what if you're not sure if you're in the C game or maybe you might be in the B game? And the B game is kind of in the middle where you're kind of good enough to place the trades, but you have to work a little bit harder at that. So I'm not too concerned about talking about the B game right now. But the C game is a situation where it's all about awareness. It's all about awareness because if you realize that, man, you just don't have it today, it's always an option to just walk away. That's always an option, and I utilize that. But as a general strategy, the C game, at least for me, comes up so often that that's not what I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to look at my C game, and I want to. So we have the second bar here. So again, trading range open so far. Let's see what happens. So what I want to do when it comes to my C game is I want to be aware of how am I making the decisions differently? How am I thinking of the market differently? What can I do to improve that C game? What can I do even when I don't feel like being here? Even when the market is slow, even when I could find myself just being just one step behind, are there things that I can do to help me play that C game better, right? And if it's just a matter of losing less, well, guess what? If you lost a little bit less, imagine you lost 25% less every time you were in your C game. Wouldn't that improve your results dramatically? Right? Wouldn't that improve your results dramatically? When the A game is when we're making a lot of money. The A game is when trading is fun. The A game is where we want to be. But the C game is where we're losing our results. So be aware of first of all, you need to know what game are you in. Are you in A, B, or C, right? Because if you're in your C game, it's going to feel different than your A game. So being aware of which game you're in is step number one. Then step number two is analyzing what you're doing. And then finally, and that could take a while. I mean, that could take weeks, that could take months to just get to that point. And then once you know what game you're in and once you know what you're doing, then you can start to make changes. All right, so far we're almost 3 bars in, 15 minutes into the market. So we have a green bar, then we have a red bar, and now it looks like we're going to be closing in a green bar, but we're below the moving average, a lot of resistance above. So for me personally, unless I see a big green bar, I'm not even going to be considering any shorts at this point. So I need to see a big green bar and see how it reacts there, but right now, big wick on top so far. Let's see how they close this bar. So yeah, so just lack of enthusiasm. So far, we're making higher lows. Let's go ahead and switch to the 1 minute chart to see, get a little bit clearer picture. So this is where we are. So push down, push up. They bought it back here at support. So let's see what happens. Again, we're in a 41, let's call it 41.20 to 40. So we're only in a 10-point range so far, but it could change very quickly. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this 5 minute bar closes. And because at this point, if this closes as a green bar, we're going to have 3 green bars, 1 small red, but very, very slow price action. We're below the moving average. A lot of resistance. This is a big area up here. So we're going to have to see a lot of enthusiasm in order to consider a long here. But let's see what happens. All right, so far we have, this one was a big, or not that big, but a green candle. But what did they do? They went above it and they sold it immediately. So far, I mean, this is not, again, I'm not thinking long. At this point, what I'm thinking, and again, I'm not going to guess on it, but what I'm thinking is that if this is a gap down, and this could be a reversal and turn into a downtrend. But let's see what happens. We haven't seen any selling, any big red bars yet. So let's see what happens. So now here we have some selling pressure. So now at a minimum, so you have this big red bar. Let's see how it closes. But at a minimum, at this point, you have the chances of an uptrend at this point, at least in the next couple of hours, just by virtue of this candle, is going to be low. Why is that? Well, because if there were buyers, this wouldn't have happened. So now this just happened. Let's see how it closes. Let's see how this bar closes. Because the market rejected from 41.33.50 down to 41.15. All right, so big red bar. So at this point, I'm going to be looking for shorts. Let's see what happens. Trade well and manage your risk.